How you feeling?
Good, man. I'm blessed. Yeah.
Okay. I heard you went to Deaf.
Sorry
Oh
for
no.
the little delay. I was at Deathopia.
Oh, how was it? How was it?
Good, yeah, pretty good. A lot of different people, and I bought some earrings, and I bought some body soap, and so I just try to support, Deaf ecosystem. Just kind of support,
Mm.
and saw some familiar faces, some people who I didn't know, and it's always nice. It's always nice. Yeah.
I like that. I support that. What was your best part in the show that you like?
Honestly, I arrived late, so really it just kind of like booth and no show. It's
Okay.
just people selling things and you know just networking. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, first I want to say congratulations on marriage. Wow, that's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you,
But
brother. Thank you.
but anyway, I'm going to talk more about your marriage. But I want to go back to your journey. Um, can you explain what was it like growing up with hearing loss?
Yeah. First, I want to say I'm proud of you. I've seen your journey. I've seen you just push and not give up. Um, you're one of the like you're ascending, and I love that you're investing and you're just pushing through. I remember when you were in school and just graduated, and now you going to grad school, possibly, right? So,
Yeah, I'm in grad school right now.
yeah.
Yes.
So I'm proud of you for defying the odds. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter what the people say. You make a decision and you just push. And proud of you. So the reason I said that because it's true, but also I see myself a lot in you as well. Growing up with a hearing loss, you were told, people, teachers, your audiologists, and all the people tell you, oh, your audiogram said this, and and growing up, speech was a challenge. I definitely went to speech therapy, and I had my hearing aids and all the things. It was definitely challenging, but the key was something that my mom told me is that you don't accept what society says you are. You don't accept what it looks like. You build, you train, and whatever your max potential is, you chase after that, not what society or the standard says you're supposed to do. And so it was challenging because I'm hard of hearing, but there was a time in my life where I only signed. I didn't speak. Yes. And so it's kind of like in a weird place in my life growing up, like just kind of not hearing, but not deaf fully. So it's like, where do I belong? Who am I? So just figuring out how I wanted to show up in the world, my identity, and just understanding who I am as a black man, as a black hard of hearing man, as a person in general. And so it was challenging. It was definitely challenging. But what made me break through all of that, not to get too religious, but I learned that my identity is not in the labels of my race or my hearing levels or anything. My identity is rooted in Christ. And once I realized that, I wasn't held stuck by labels. I follow what God says who I am. And so everything else, my blackness, my hearing identity, that's just an asset to how I share the joy of God, the power, the wisdom that God's given me. So once I stopped feeling stuck, worrying about what people thought, how they felt, what they thought was right, what they thought was deaf, there's a spectrum, right? And so once I stopped worrying about that, I became free. And growing up, I could be myself and still be able to influence and support and help people regardless of their hearing level, whether they are deaf profoundly or hard of hearing. They have a CI, they grew up with sign language or not. I see their best in them and not what limits them. So, um, growing up was definitely challenging, but I learned through what my mom said, but also just learning and say, it's not about what the people say. It's about what I pursue.
So, was your parents always there for you?
Yeah, it was a big part of my life. My parents allowing me to go to speak therapy. My mom and my dad learning ASL in the beginning, but just always putting me in speech therapy. If I say a word incorrectly, they would say it like this, and that word THISPHS. Those were challenging words, and my brother, well, I love him, but he did kind of pick on me sometimes. That that's not the right way to say it, So, also people in school pick like, why you talk like that? You know what? And some people that have a little bit of a list, but it doesn't matter. The point is that I practiced, I studied, um, and I didn't let what sounded or looked weird stop me. And so I always tell people, strive for your max potential, not what people say your 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 floor, your minimum. Don't stay there. Strive for your max potential. And everyone max is not the same. That's okay. But if you're striving for your max, you can always strive and be successful.
Wow, I really like that. What you said, that setting up your own high expectation. Don't let anyone say your very expectation. I like that.
Yeah.
Quick question: was your parent your biggest inspiration?
Yeah. My mom and my dad, they understood and had balance. And I'm thankful for them because a lot of parents, they're afraid. They say, oh, my child has hearing loss or is deaf or whatever it may be. And they don't put and give their children the support that's necessary. They say, oh, they ignore it. They say, oh, ain't nothing wrong with you, boy. Ain't nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, hey, give them support that's necessary. So wherever their potential is, they have an opportunity to reach it. And so my encouragement to all parents is that your son or your daughter is special, important. They're not damaged. There's nothing wrong with them, but they have an opportunity to succeed differently. And it looks different. Maybe they go to the therapy, or maybe they get a CI, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just are deaf and they learn ASL, which is a beautiful language, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so, once you get connected to community, and you'll realize there are many smart, successful, thriving deaf people and hard of hearing people. So, like I said, deafness, the spectrum, variety of people you see. Wawa, and you have uh, deaf rappers and Claudia, deaf woman who worked for the White House. There's just so many examples that are possibilities, and it doesn't look the same. But the key is you need language. You need ASL. You need someone to say, I don't care about what society says. You can thrive. And so it's a beautiful thing. Thankful my parents for pushing me and singing that in me. Yeah, I believe that it goes
both roles. Number one, parents need to support their child. Also, the child has to support themselves, have to push themselves same time. Because I see a lot of parents neglect their child. That's not right.
It's not.
That's weird.
Right.
But
it happens a lot.
I can't control. It's not out of my control. But it's just not right. Why would you bring a child in this world if you're not gonna take care of your child? It's not right.
Fear makes parents say, "I don't know how to support this deaf child," or maybe they have another disability. I don't know how to support them, so they just leave, or they don't push because oh, it's okay. But that's why I said always strive for your best. The best. Everyone's not the same, but if you're striving for your best, you can't go wrong.
That's true. Also, they allow the school to take care of them. Like the deaf school here, take care of my child. But that's not their job, 100%.
Yeah.
Home training.
You're right. Like you said, everyone has a role. The school, the student, the parents, church, whatever. Everyone have a role. And I like what you said. The student has to learn to self-advocate for themselves. But you got to build your confidence first to be able to say, I'm going to say something. I'm not going to and let people do whatever. No. It's kind of two problems. You have, as a kid or a student, who really wanted to do work? Most kids, come on, it doesn't matter if you're deaf or hard of hands. Most kids not trying to do no work, And then on top of that, but you still need to self-advocate for yourself so you can get the work, the interpreter or the note taker or whatever it may be. So it's kind of a mix of two things. As a student, you have to self-advocate for yourself, but you also have to be willing to do the work, So I try to have grace for a student because at the same time, they're kids. And I remember myself, while I needed to self-advocate for myself, I didn't want to self-advocate for myself so much that I had no excuse not to finish the work. Let's just be real. You know what I mean? So you have to be honest with yourself and say, hey, if you speak up, that means you're now accountable.
I like that part. And also, I see a lot of the students feel like they don't have a lot of inspiration. They feel self-doubt, just not motivated in school. And I remember once I was not motivated in school. I had to figure out what's going to push me and what is my dream, what is my future. I was struggling with that, but I was still pushing myself and I figured it out. So at the same time, it's your future, no one's future, and what you said, you had a responsibility of your life. No one's going to take care of your responsibility of your life.
Yeah.
So that's true what you said on that. And I want to talk more about how did you build up your confidence? Like, I believe in myself. I'm going to advocate for myself. I'm going to take control of my future. I don't care what anyone say. I believe in myself. How did you build up your confidence?
Well, I believe that confidence comes when you get a win. When you start winning, then you become confident. So, for example, first, my mom, my dad, they spoke life into me, and they said, "You can." I was like, all right, I believe it. My parents said so, but I hadn't proved it yet. I go to school, struggling, kids are picking on me on my speech or wherever it may be, and I realized I can do the work, I was fortunate. I played baseball, so that helped a lot. I was pretty good at baseball sports. So once you get some wins and you say, "Oh, I can. I succeeded." Boom, 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 boom. Then you start to become more confident. So, if I do this, then I get respect. And when I get respect, people then start to listen. So, and I just got really, really enamored in that, and I just really wanted to help people. I really, really wanted to support myself, but I also wanted to be a good example for other students that was in my class. Think about it. I was one of the few students who had their parents who would advocate for them. And I realized that a lot of the support that the other students got was because of my parents advocating for me. So I realized others were benefited from my parent advocating for me. And I realized it's bigger than me. I gotta do it right. I gotta be a good example because if I didn't do it right, then other students may have not got an interpreter. Maybe they didn't get uh, extra support. And so when I realized that, I was like, wow, you know, this is bigger. This is bigger. This is bigger than just Marcus, building his confidence or it's about him. No, it's about a community. It's about the deaf community. About fighting for rights for other students and changing the status quo of how things go. And that's what I wanted to go against. And I realized, wow, I've been given this not a burden, but a responsibility to fight for myself, but for others. And I just built my confidence. And I saw it's not about me; it's bigger than me, and that built my confidence when I realized that.
Wow. I really like the point that you made. Confidence is about wins. It's like evidence. You need evidence to make confidence. Like, is it true? Like, for example, going to the gym. Like, you want to build muscle. On day one, you're not gonna see the this muscle, but
right, you're not gonna
every
see
2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, you see a little results. Like, wow!
Right.
I kept doing it again and again and again. I see the results. That makes you believe it's I can do it. Like, it's possible. But if you just talk, in your mind saying it's not sure, but if you do it again and again and see the results, I can do it. I can do 1 push-ups. I can do it. It's possible.
Yeah.
What you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right, man. Lifting is a perfect example. Be like, I'm looking good. I'm gonna keep going. He's like, I can do it because it works. By the way, just to hold that, you getting cut, bro. You getting cut. I mean, like, what you training for? What are you training for?
I try to push myself hard. You gotta be ready. It's like a war. You gotta every day. I think you have to push yourself hard because no one's going to push you. And I train my mind. Like, I have to push myself every day for the hard days, for the rainy days, when I feel like I want to give up. And then when I'm training my mind mentally not to give up, when the hard time comes, I know I'm ready.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that, man. You're right, man. Weightlifting definitely it trains your mind for discipline, focus. When you push it and it's hard and you just push through, it's the same thing when you doing that homework. Like, I don't want to do this. I do not want to read. I don't want to do this. It's the same thing. So, yeah, I recently just got back into the gym. So I mean, your boy got some work to do for sure. I feel right now I'm taking a pause. Stop.
because I have muscle stress. I've been going
Yeah, I
too
did see
hard.
that. Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
to relax.
Balance.
I just put,
Balance is key. Balance. So you asked, how do I change how I see myself? How do I change how other people see me?
Yes.
Is that the question? Okay. So number one, you have to let go of what other people perceive you to be. Your goal cannot be I'm doing this to make other people see me as smart, handsome. My disability doesn't label you got to let go of that, because if you are working and striving for other people's approval, you will also die by their approval.
What you mean about that? Talk about it. Go deep.
Meaning, if you succeeding, and yeah, we're human. We want somebody to say, "Good job, you inspire me." That's okay. That's okay. But if you live and die by what people say, there will be time when you do something that's different, and then someone says, "Why are you doing that? I don't like that." And you like, but you like me? Why? But I want your approval. I want you to like what I'm doing. Then now you're ruined. So the first step is to let go of what people think about you. Not go to extreme, like I don't care what nobody said. Listen, but don't let it keep you stuck where you can't make a change if you need to change. Because sometimes we have to listen to people. Oh, they have wisdom. Maybe there's something that we don't see. But the key is not to be stuck by their opinion and their thoughts. The second thing is, yes, we work hard, we strive for success and all the things, but those things are not really the most important things in life. So I'm not going to preach here, but let's go there. Remember, I said your identity is not in the things and who you are, not even your disability. Your identity is in Christ, who says you are the chosen generation. You are the head and not the tail. You are made in the image of Christ. So God doesn't lie. So if he says it, that means it's true. The only thing you got to do is obey and listen and believe and walk in what God gave you. Last, once you do that, you will get the influence. You will have numbers. All that other stuff happened after. But if you're so concerned about what people think, what they believe, how they see you, you'll be focusing on them and not your purpose, the thing that's bigger than yourself. So it's not about other people's perceptions. It's about what God told you to do.
I really like that. But first, you talk about disability. So, in your own words, what does disability mean to you?
Well, disability means, like a science definition. You know what I mean? Someone has a limitation, but I don't believe in that. I believe, regardless of your physical or mental limitation, you have a path to still thrive. So I'm not crazy. I'm not delusional. Where I say, "Oh, there's no such thing." Yeah, some people are deaf. Yeah, some people have one leg. Some people have intellectual disability. That's true. But I don't look at disability as a block to where you can't be successful. So disability is real, but I'm more focused on how the disability is now your like special superpower to now show the world, family, your friends, your enemies that, guess what? Regardless of my limitation, God still gave me a way to thrive. And that's what disability to me is.
Wow. And I noticed that you talk about pur- pur- purpose.
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 Yeah.
Okay. You talk about purpose, and I feel like I heard. Okay. I heard you talk about more purpose and disability, and now you are a teacher, and you notice that you became deaf, but you did not let that define you, and you were struggling, but it helped you to find your purpose, and now you are a teacher, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So how? What made you become a teacher?
I wanted to become an educator, and I've always wanted to do it. I remember when I first went to Gallaudet University, I put in my bio for my baseball bio, I said I want to become an English teacher. But for a long time, I was avoiding it. I was just like trying to chase money, whatever was stable, whatever. You got to finish school. You have to do that, and now I'm back in school. So I realized that I had an opportunity to make a difference, but you can't do shortcuts. You can't. You can't. And so one thing about life, you can go here, here, and there, all around, but you'll go back to where you have to pass that test. And so right now, that's the season I'm in. I've been blessed. I've had success in different areas in my life, but if you didn't pass one part of your life, in the test in your life, you will go back. And so that's where I'm at now, just to be honest. And um, inspiration, why I wanted to become an educator, because I remember, to be honest here, I remember being in middle school and I had the FM system. And the teacher forgot to turn the FM system off. And I heard her say, "Oh, those kids, they're just going to work in a factory." I heard that over the FM system. And so I wanted to become an educator because the reason why a lot of students don't thrive is because their teachers don't have a vision for them. They don't see a student say, I can see him working, becoming a scientist. I can see him working in IT. I can see him, being a manager at Walmart. I can see him doing something great. And a lot of the students don't have parents. They're on drugs or they divorced or whatever it may be. And it's challenging, not just deaf, but just in general. In inner city school, it's challenging. But the teachers seem to feel like it's not my right to see a student say, wow, you have skill. You're good with numbers. You're good at reading. You're good at this. You could potentially become something. And label label a student something good, but they label student, you heard people say, you're going to end up in prison or dead. You've heard people say that. Like, and maybe they don't say that extreme, but they always say something that's negative or not their maximum potential. And that's what made me say, no, no, no. The education system is not failing because of education. Well, it kind of is, yeah. But I feel like teachers don't have a vision for students. They don't speak life into students. They just do the job, and that's it. Mm-hmm. It's a deeper issue because it's kind of political in some ways, but our society has changed. You can't really tell students certain things, but you can encourage a student to be their best, to strive for their best, and say you can. So that's what made me want to become an educator. And while I've kind of delayed for a very long time, and I'm now back on that track, that's why it inspired me to do it.
Wow. So you're a teacher now, or you want to become a teacher?
I am an educator. I'm not an official full-time teacher. I right now do teach deaf first to fourth grade, but I'm soon at the end of this year become official. Yeah, but I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow, and that's true. What you said, that there's a problem in the education system. There's multiple different problems. Number one is issue with the parents, neglecting their children. Two, students not feeling motivated in school or want to be successful. They need more inspiration. And three, the teachers just like, let me just get my money and just get out of here.
That part. I see that a lot. Yeah. And I get it. It can be tiring. You're working with students. They have their own issues and you get burnt out. I get it. But becoming a teacher is definitely a huge responsibility, and you definitely have to love it for sure.
Yeah. Are you the deaf teacher in that school, or there's multiple deaf teachers? You're the one?
They have deaf ed. They sound a little bit, you know what I mean? But they have interpreting class. But soon we will have me become the teacher, sign it all the way. We don't need an interpreter, and so some changes are coming. Changes are coming for sure.
The first one will be a good example.
And that's what we need in the beginning. Like I know we have Maryland School for the Deaf, but mainstream program, we still can have an effective program for students who are in the inner city who maybe don't go to Maryland School for the Deaf. But you got to have qualified, well-known teachers, people who know ASL, the culture, and that's going to support and model, you know, um, you know, what success looks like. And so, yeah.
Wow. I believe we need more male role model, and especially black need.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I was avoiding it for a long time. I was working another job and tech sales, and I was doing this, and this, and this. But, this is where I belong.
Okay. What ways can you? Go back. What advice can you give students who may be watching this? What advice can you give them to advocate themselves in school or out school?
So I'll give you an example for in school. The IEP meeting are not your enemies. They're actually for your benefit. So, I know you're a young kid, but you're like fifth grade, fourth grade, middle school. It's your time to really, really invest and sit down with the parent and your teacher about what you need and want, so that way you can get the education and the support that you need. Legally, if a student says, I need an interpreter or a note taker or whatever it may be, by law, they have to provide it. But the dirty little secret is that the school system is hoping and praying that the student doesn't advocate for themselves. And that's like the sad part, that they can't see a student struggling and say, they'll just put them in a class and say, you know what, we'll put a interpreter in a class, knowing they don't have language access, but on paper, it looks like they're supporting a student, but that student doesn't have enough language to be able to look at the teacher, then look at the interpreter, and use the interpreter appropriately. So that's the dirty little secret when it comes to IEPs, because they're banking. They're like, oh, we bet that their parent don't show up. We bet the student doesn't. Like I said, they're young kids. Who want to do work? You know what I mean? But think about it. You have to, you have to advocate for yourself. Legally, you have the right, but you just have to say something.
Wow, that's shock. Like, yeah, that's the problem. You see, if parents really care about the child, look at the paper, they would be not playing games with their child's education. We'll show up in school. No, no, this. Also, if the child like feel like this is something wrong, I'm not accepting this. I want to talk to my parents or talk to someone. Things would change, but it starts with the child and the parent, and that part. And also, oh, you have to go soon. Okay. Um, I want to talk a few more questions. I want to talk about more about your book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, before we talk about your book, you just got married. What was your meaning of marriage means to you?
Oh, that's a deep question, bro. I'm gonna give you the short version, okay? So, the meaning of marriage. I know I'm about to say something very, very like religious, but marriage is not really about woman and man. It's really a promise to God that you would love and forgive, and you would think about the other person more than yourself. So it's a commitment to serving the other person, through success and failure. And I made that decision because I found someone who loves me. And regardless of, I'll be tripping sometimes, but, regardless of what happens, you know what I mean? The love will always be there. You work and you grow and you build with that person through their success and failures.
Wow. Two more questions. So, one, what advice can you give to young men in dating, marriage, personal, or anything?
In relation to marriage?
I mean, in dating or
In
marriage.
dating? I would say the number one thing is save your money. Definitely, save your money, and I love that because you're doing investing, but definitely save your money. Um, Secondly, I would say, know yourself. Don't jump into a relationship because of what it looks like or the time. I got to get married now or whatever it may be. But know yourself as much as possible because you're always going to change and grow. But know who you are, your weaknesses, your failures, your dreams, and be able to communicate those things to your wife. You know, and just try to be a person who what's up, y'all? Try to be a person who is aware of yourself because you get in a relationship, things change quick. It's weird. It's kind of hard, even now, hard to explain, but things change. And yeah, I hope nobody RKO market bumps.
But yeah, what you said was true. So now you 30 something?
I'm now 32, soon to be 33 in May 18th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so what would you tell your younger 18 self?
Mm. Um, Let go of the labels. Let go of the label. Let go of how you think other people think something should be. Don't try to fit into the mold of what other people think you should be. You know, and you're more powerful. You make more of an impact. You have more influence if you show up yourself, and it doesn't have to fit what other people think it should look like. So if you have talent here, don't hide it. If you can do this, don't hide it. Don't just make yourself small for other people's comfortabilities.
Wow, that's a good advice. So before we wrap the show, is there any projects you're working on? You want people to know? Where can people follow you? Where people can buy a book? How can people support you?
Yeah. So no real project right now. Just building, family and maybe a market junior or something. You never
Oh,
know.
you're gonna have kids in the future?
Yeah, definitely. Right now, just working, building, just trying to set my life. As it's kind of weird to say, but family man, that kind of a thing. Building a ministry. I really feel called to lead. In a faith way. Maybe not exactly a pastor, but someone who can support with the deaf community, and so that's really what I've been doing now, just leading and that. So you can buy the book on Amazon. The name of the book is called Knowing. Discovering the mind of your future life. So thank y'all. Hey, I'm proud of you. Continue to just push. Remember, balance is important,
Sure.
and rest is important. And
Yes.
thank y'all for all for supporting. Happy Easter, and I'll see y'all around.
Thank you. Take care, man.
Peace.